So I know it was almost a decade building Moonfruit and various ups and downs and eventually exiting in 2012. But if you can, give me the sort of the potted history of the company and the major sort of milestones along the way.
Yeah, so Moonfruit was a DIY website platform, and we had at our peak about 7 million sites built on it. It was optimized for mobile. It included lots of e-commerce. It was one of the first of its kind. I mean, we built in late 1999, 2000, probably one of the world's first SaaS applications, as in the software ran entirely in the browser. We integrated a billing system to it in about 2002. We could only use one global billing provider at that time, which was WorldPay, because they were the only one that supported recurring payments online. And nowadays, this just seems crazy. But so it really was dragging forward the thresholds of technology at the time. So Moonfruit came from the idea that back in 1999, 2000, you couldn't publish online easily. Pre-social media, pre-blogging, pre-all this sort of stuff. And the only way you could produce content online was by being an engineer of some kind and knowing HTML. There was a few things like GeoCities, which is heavy template-based and lots of dancing cats and that sort of stuff. But to be able to create and craft your own thing, you needed the tech skills. So Moonfruit's plan was always to make this effortless and easy and in the hands of everybody. And when we launched it, it was effectively a B2C business. The idea was that anyone could be a web publisher and get involved. And we launched it to great fanfare. We initially took some capital from Bain's Accelerator and then from a large European fund and then ultimately from Macromedia, which is one of the big Silicon Valley software firms that's now part of Adobe. And it went out there, and we had, as I said, this sort of cutting-edge technology to allow you to visually assemble your own site in real time online in the browser. Crazy times. We got to 500,000 users within the first few months. The growth was extraordinary. Naturally, at the time, we were expecting to monetize this through advertising, as all the web portals were doing, as GeoCities had done in the past, and so on. Unfortunately, the ground started shaking as the dot-com bubble approached. We got some revenue through that, but not a huge amount. And then when the bubble burst, we had some quite difficult decisions to make about. We actually had a term sheet from a big investor just before the bubble went, and the terms were at the time I think pretty aggressive and involved certain follow-on rounds and so on. We chose not to take that. We then had to bridge it a bit with our existing investors, and by the time the market was dropping out, it was clear that we wouldn't survive in our current form. So we had to backtrack quite aggressively from 80 staff in 3 countries down to 10, and then ultimately down to 2. And one of our major investors, who was winding up their fund, was trying to tying off the loose ends. And at this point, we said, well, look, we've got this customer base that we started charging for. We can't wrap this thing up. We've got obligations to these people. Would you let us buy the business back? And very gratefully, they did. And we ended up repurchasing the business to take it private again.